Manchester United vs Arsenal, a fixture soaked in history, rivalry, and emotion. Every time these two giants meet, it feels less like a football match and more like a battle between traditions, fan bases, and generations of players who've worn the badge with pride. And this clash was no different. Old Trafford stood buzzing, a sea of red, anticipation mixing with tension, as fans knew the weight of this game. It wasn't just about points. It was about pride, about proving who really belongs at the top table of English football. Manchester United, struggling for consistency, desperate to show their strength at home. Arsenal, carrying the aura of resurgence under Mikel Arteta, chasing glory, and reminding the world they're not just here to compete, they're here to win. From the very first whistle, the energy on the pitch matched the roaring stands. United pushed forward with aggression, looking to unsettle Arsenal's rhythm. Rashford darted down the left, Bruno Fernandes looked for spaces to exploit, and the crowd responded with every early attempt. Arsenal, however, looked calm, composed, and structured. You could sense that their game plan was one of patience and precision. They weren't here to be bullied at Old Trafford. They were here to execute. And that's exactly what they did. The first big moment of drama came when Arsenal's midfield trio started dictating tempo. Declan Rice was immense, his presence reminding fans why Arsenal spent big on him. His interceptions, his composure, his ability to break up play. Every moment he touched the ball, Arsenal looked like they had control. Martin Ødegaard danced around midfield like a conductor, pulling strings, demanding the ball, and bringing calmness every time United tried to disrupt. And then came the breakthrough. It wasn't a goal out of chaos, nor was it a lucky deflection. It was a statement. Arsenal, with one clean move, silenced the theatre of dreams. Bukayo Saka found space on the right, his quick feet twisting United's defence, before laying it across to Leandro Trossard, who, with that sharp instinct he's known for, tucked it away. One touch, one finish, and the net rippled. Arsenal players sprinted towards the corner, celebrating, while United fans held their heads in frustration. The scoreboard read Manchester United 0, Arsenal 1. It wasn't just a score. It felt like a dagger in the hearts of United supporters who had been daring to believe this was their night. And from that moment, the game became about emotion as much as tactics. United's players responded with urgency. Casemiro shouted at his teammates, urging him forward. Bruno tried long balls, Rashford attempted his trademark cut-ins, and Højlund fought for every scrap against Arsenal's solid backline. But every time United advanced, Arsenal had an answer. Gabriel and William Saliba formed a wall at the back, cutting out crosses, blocking shots, and frustrating every move. David Raya, calm in goal, commanded his box with authority. The crowd grew restless. You could hear the sighs, the frustrated shouts, the nervous chants of attack, attack, attack. But football is cruel. Sometimes it doesn't matter how hard you push. When a team is organized, disciplined, and refuses to break, you're left chasing shadows. And that's what Arsenal did. They let United huff and puff, but they never let them blow the house down. One of the most emotional moments of the night came when Marcus Rashford picked up the ball in the 70th minute. He drove forward, beating one defender, cutting inside onto his right foot, and curling a shot that seemed destined for the top corner. Time stood still. Fans rose in anticipation. But then, Raya's fingertips pushed it away. The camera cut to Rashford's face, the disbelief in his eyes telling the whole story. For United, this wasn't going to be their night. Arsenal grew stronger with every passing minute. Their confidence shone in the way they passed, the way they slowed the tempo when needed, and the way they defended as a unit. Every tackle won was celebrated like a goal. Every interception was greeted with applause from the travelling fans. And speaking of fans, the Arsenal supporters who had made the trip to Manchester sang louder and prouder as the game went on. "We are top of the league," echoed around Old Trafford, reminding everyone of the stakes. This wasn't just a victory. This was Arsenal planting their flag. When the final whistle blew, the scenes told the story better than words ever could. Arsenal players embraced, fists pumped towards their fans, while United players slumped to the ground. It wasn't just a 1-0 defeat. It was symbolic of where both clubs stand right now. Arsenal, organised, hungry, and chasing greatness. Manchester United, inconsistent, still searching for answers, their fans left asking tough questions about the future. Let's break it down statistically because football is not only about passion but also about numbers. Arsenal had fewer shots than United, but they had more control. Their possession wasn't overwhelming, but it was purposeful. Their passing accuracy showed maturity. United had more shots on target but lacked ruthlessness. And in football, it's not about who tries more, it's about who executes better. That's exactly what Arsenal did. Individual performances were key. Declan Rice was a giant in midfield, showing leadership beyond his years. Ødegaard played with intelligence and flair, always available, always dictating. Trossard, the match winner, once again showed why he's one of Arsenal's most underrated signings, popping up in crucial moments. On the other hand, United struggled. Casemiro looked isolated at times, Bruno Fernandes couldn't find his rhythm, and Rashford's brilliance was not enough. The defensive frailties showed, and in a game of fine margins, they were punished. Emotionally, this game cuts deep for United fans. Old Trafford used to be a fortress where teams feared stepping in. But now, teams like Arsenal come not with fear, but with belief. And that shift in mentality is perhaps the hardest pill for United fans to swallow. Arsenal's win wasn't just 3 points, it was a reminder that they are ready to fight for the title. Every celebration, every cheer from the Arsenal camp was filled with belief that this season could finally be theirs. For Manchester United, it's back to the drawing board. Questions will be asked of Erik ten Hag about his tactics, his selections, and his ability to make this team click. The fans, loyal as ever, will demand answers. But for now, the reality is painful. Arsenal came to Old Trafford, played their game, and left with a victory that could define their season. In the bigger picture, this match will be remembered not just for Trossard's goal, but for the shift in momentum it represents. Arsenal looked like a team built for the long haul, disciplined, united, and confident. Manchester United, on the other hand, looked like a club still caught between rebuilding and expectation. And in football, that gap can feel like a chasm. As the cameras panned out of Old Trafford, one side of the stadium was filled with joy, songs, and belief. The other side was drowned in silence, frustration, and the weight of disappointment. That's the beauty and cruelty of football. One goal, one night, one result, and two very different emotions. Arsenal leave with hope burning brighter than ever. United are left in shadows, waiting for answers that seem harder to find with every passing game. Manchester United 0, Arsenal 1. A night of passion, a night of frustration, and a night that may just be remembered as another chapter in Arsenal's chase for greatness and United's long road back to glory.